You know, there's really only one reason that I do this. I got tired of leaving exit 15 on Route 78 and having to come to Newark and trying to figure out whether it was going to take me 45 minutes or 2 hours. And so the only way I could get around that was basically get involved. So there's a selfish reason for it as well. I want to take a moment and thank you all for being here this morning. We sat in Mary Kay's office probably about 6 weeks ago or so, and we really debated whether we would do this in August. So, you know, third week in August, vacations, et cetera, et cetera. We're going to get a turnout? We answered our own question, and we answered our question based on the fact that we felt no matter what time of year we did this, first of all, it was more timely to be in the forefront of this topic. And secondarily, in August, there are still some of us that work for a living and will be here, and this topic has proven so. And I want to thank you for being here. If you've never been here to Newark, to NJTPA, we want to welcome you very much. You're going to find by the end of this symposium that, in fact, you found a resource in transportation right here. If you have been here before, welcome back. Hope you didn't hit any traffic, because I didn't hit any traffic this morning. But the fact that you're all here reinforces the importance of what we're here to talk about. Now, a few months ago, Congress delivered, and President Obama approved MAP-21, which you all know is the authorization for federal transportation funding. As Executive Director Mary Kay Murphy talked about, I've had the great fortune over the past couple of months of speaking numerous times to many different groups that are tied into transportation, and frankly, for getting a great deal of feedback back from those groups. And I will tell you that both over the past couple of months, conversations this morning, conversations with people in transportation and folks who are not in transportation, there are many, many people out there who are wondering what MAP-21 really means to them. And today our job is to try to put all of that in perspective. Now, I said there what it means to them. Let me also say something very clearly, and this is an opinion of mine, and I will share it. MAP-21 isn't something, and that is that MAP-21 is not the true solution for our transportation and our infrastructure needs. Let me say that again. MAP-21 is not the real solution for our transportation and our infrastructure needs. Ladies and gentlemen, that's probably not going to be a real popular statement. And I will also tell you, as an elected official, there are a number of elected officials that would be unwilling to make that statement. But I will sit here today, and based upon your attendance and the feedback that I've gotten over the past couple of months, it is the truth. And the truth is what we're here to find out. Transportation funding for many years in Congress, for decades in Congress, and I know this from a personal level in DC for many years, transportation funding took an approach that essentially passed multi-year transportation bills with robust funding because Washington, D.C. recognized that a growing economy, a growing population, a sustainable, robust economy required that there be increased infrastructure investment. But I have to say that today, and I think most of us understand this, things are very different. We have gone 3 years since the end of the Safety Lou long-term funding bill that started in '04, that ended and expired in '09. 3 years we've gone with a series of 9 extensions, and essentially ended up with a 2-year bill that virtually had no funding increase to show for it whatsoever. And ladies and gentlemen, if you do the math on that, by the time MAP-21 is over, we will have spanned a period of 10 years, a decade, without a real conversation on where transportation funding really needs to be with respect to this region, this state, and certainly I speak nationwide as well. But I'm not here to wring our hands. I'm not here to necessarily express frustration, although perhaps you get that, okay? I think it's important that we think about where we want to go from here, and I think it's important to figure out how we're going to get there. What I fear more than anything at this moment is that we will find ourselves at the end of MAP-21 facing a midterm congressional election, and please bear in mind that we have moved this conversation from a presidential and congressional election year to a mid-year congressional election year, and we will find ourselves again facing a series of extensions that once again do not address the real needs of this region and of this state and of this country, pushing us beyond a 10-year window of time. That is my greatest fear. So we have a series of big questions. I'm very fortunate in the fact that here at NJTPA, we have a lot of answers. Like our other fellow metropolitan planning organizations across the country, we have been studying transportation. We have been looking at the transportation challenges. We have been coming up with solutions. What does it mean? Do we have recommendations on how to improve roads and how to expand transit? Do we have ideas on how to enhance safety? Do we have ideas on how to make our communities more walkable? One of my favorite topics, and I know of our executive director, do we have ideas on how to use new innovative technology to make travel smarter, more efficient, more effective? We have those ideas. We have those recommendations. Absolutely without question. I want to show you something. Give me just a minute. It's going to take me a second. I may need some help here because, you know. Maybe we'll do just one more here, and I hope you can still see me back here. But ladies and gentlemen, the pages of these studies are filled with potential projects. And these are but just a few. Every single one of these represent our entire region. Every single one of them has been evaluated. Every single one of them has been vetted through the planning process that involves the state, the counties, the municipalities, and the public. Every one of these is ready to take a next step. But there's something that is missing, and that is a robust, long-term, bipartisan funding commitment. It is what we need at NJTPA. It is what our MPO system needs if we're going to improve our region and fellow regions around this country. Our board is made up of both parties. It gives people like myself, like Freeholder Palmer from Somerset County, like my good friend Freeholder Estrada from Union County, a say in how federal transportation dollars are invested. It is a great model. It has worked well for decades. It continues to work well, and it needs to have a funding stream that allows us to put in place studies like this and move them forward. But this morning, as Mary Kay mentioned, you're going to see some sobering numbers about the long-term funding challenges that we face. And frankly, ladies and gentlemen, if something doesn't change, basic maintenance is going to eat up more and more of our resources as our infrastructure continues to age, and we simply are not going to be able to modernize our infrastructure. And frankly, when you tie together transportation with the economy, build a robust, sustainable, and growing economy again here in this region, this state, and this country. Now, some of you will hear me speak today and ask for more funding and say that we should count our blessings, that highway and transit programs haven't been slashed given the political climate in Washington. And I understand that. I mean, I get where they're coming from. But ladies and gentlemen, let me be very clear about something. Transportation investment is extremely different than most other forms of government spending. I very rarely use the word spending when I talk about transportation infrastructure. I call transportation investment, and it has been proven time and time again, without a doubt, irrefutably, to be an engine, a driver of economic development, a driver of economic recovery, a driver of job creation. Today, with a weak national economy and with persistent high unemployment, we need to assure our business leaders that our region is committed to transportation. They need to know that investing in this region, bringing their businesses to this region, will allow us to get their workers to move reliably to their jobs, will allow them to be sure that they can move freight, goods, and services in and out of their area quickly and efficiently. Now, in your packages, by the way, there's a recent column that was put forth in the Star Ledger. There's a sentence in there I'd like to repeat for you. I hope you'll read it, by the way, but there's a sentence in there I'd like to repeat for you. It says that a modern, well-balanced transportation network is crucial to economic competitiveness. A modern, well-balanced transportation network is crucial to economic competitiveness. So where are we now? Where does this leave us? Congress has bought us 2 more years with MAP-21, and NJTPA will continue to ensure that these funds are invested wisely in the most critical projects. And we must and we will continue to work to see that transportation funding isn't simply out of sight and out of mind for the next 2 years. Today's event is simply one example of that commitment that we have here at NJTPA and that I believe you also are committed to. You should note, by the way, that NJTPA is a resource that you can tap into. If you have questions about a project, either federally funded or otherwise, please come to us. If you have a concern about what's being planned for the future, please let us know. If you have a need to access an expert or speakers with knowledge of transportation and planning issues such as we have today, reach out to us, please. Our staff, whom I am immensely proud of every single day, and our board, I might add, has a great deal of expertise in these areas, and the NJTPA is uniquely positioned to deal with regional transportation issues that allow us to cut across municipal and county borders and affect a region as a whole. In the coming months, ladies and gentlemen, I encourage us all to develop a true understanding of what needs to be done for our future. And I encourage all of us in the transportation field to speak together, to speak with one single voice, with one regional voice, so that we can build a very, very strong foundation for real, long-term solutions to our transportation funding needs. Ladies and gentlemen, if you have not gotten the picture here right now, it is time to start turning our ideas into actions, our plans into projects, and I encourage us all to work together to move beyond MAP-21 and to make that happen. I said it before and I will say it again. I am so proud of our staff here at NJTPA. I'm so proud of the work we do. I'm especially proud of our board, who has embraced this message wholeheartedly across both party lines that we represent. It is always my honor to be here, and it's a true privilege to have an opportunity to speak to you. Thank you very much.